Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. Bless you, Yahawah, bless you, Yahawashi. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who teaches truth and sincerity. And Shalawam to the Akim, who pushes truth also in sincerity. And Shalawam to the Akim and the Akwaf, who listen and learn and believe upon Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, our power. Today's lesson, we're just going to be getting into, Spirit got on me to get on a lesson about our enemies. But before I get to that, I want to go ahead and go into the intro, giving double honors unto the elders and the apostles. It says in 1 Peter's chapter 5 and verse 5, it says, "Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yeah, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For power resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble." All right, so double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. All right, so today's lesson, I just want to get into our enemies. So we're going to flip over to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just get it on the phone. I'm reading through my Bible, my sword that I have in hand. But I'll show it on the screen just for edification's sake. Book of Deuteronomy 28:68. And it reads, "And the Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies. There you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." So when it goes into Yahawah bringing us into Egypt again with ships, it's not talking about the land of Egypt, because this is in the book of Deuteronomy, and we were delivered in the book of Exodus. So let's get the definition of Egypt in Exodus 20:2, and then I'm going to get back to the picture that pertains to the lesson. And it says, "I am the Yahawah thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." So Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage. All right. So I was going through the Spirit, and I just typed in slavery, because we're under captivity, and as we've been through many, because our people are stiff-necked people, as the scriptures say. And when you type in slavery, it automatically brings up the Israelite slavery. You don't even have to type in the byword that they use, black or African American slavery or Israelite slavery. It just automatically shows up. But when I was reading through the Spirit, it led me to the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse, what was it? 28 and Salakia. Bear with me. All right, so that byword I was getting into is verse 28 and verse 37. It says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword." How's it going, brother? "And a byword among all nations, where the Yahawah shall lead thee." All right. And what I wanted to get was 28 verse 49. It says, "The Yahawah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth." And let's get that, because America's symbol is the eagle. So you see right here, the American symbol is the eagle, as it says in the scripture. It says, the Yahawah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Because we got to get deep into this English tongue, because it's a very new tongue, but the ancient tongue is the Paleo-Hebrew. And I'm going to get it in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, and there's that word enemies again, which the Yahawah shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So if you scroll down to this picture, that's exactly what it says. A yoke of iron upon thy neck. Alright? And just as that iron is upon our neck, you see the rust on it. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10, it says, never trust thine enemy. There's that word enemy again. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right, and to read down, but the going into our enemies is Esau, the so-called white man, and along with these heathen nations, because they are confederate, as it says in one of the book of in the book of Psalms in one of the chapters. It's they are confederate against us, to roughly paraphrase it. It says in verse 11, it says, though he humble himself and grow crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. So, they as it says in the book of Psalms, to roughly paraphrase again, it says, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter. They know what to say, and they know how to pretty much be deceitful. That's why they call him the devil. Pretty much they know how to get close, as like say a lion, for instance, how he creepeth up and wait till he get close before he attacks. All right, so they'll wait to get close, and I think it actually goes into it. It says in verse 12, it says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. All right, that's deep. And it says, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. All right. So pretty much it's plain and simple. Don't trust your enemy, which is Esau, Edom, as it pertains to the scripture. And I wish I could remember what verse it says, or the words of his mouth are smoother than butter. But Lord will, I get it in another lesson. I'm here at the plantation, and pretty much I was going through the spirit, and it led me to go into the verses about our enemies. So I'm gonna end it on another scripture before I get out of here, because we're going through this captivity, but we have to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And the elder brother from Alabama, let me try to pull it up. It's his channel is Mysteries of the Kingdom, I believe. Salakia about my connection. Don't have much connection here in this plantation. Here it is right here. Alright, so Mysteries of the Kingdom. The elder from Alabama was going into it. Pretty much there's bitter times that is ahead. It's not all love. The Most High is a balanced power. and there's a time and place for everything as it pertains to, I believe in the book of Ecclesiastes. But in the Job, in the book of Job 2:10, I'm gonna end it on this. It says, "But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of power? And shall not we receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips." So, as I was going into, pretty much Yahawah is a balanced power, and there's gonna be the kingdom, at the end of this road. And of course, to get to the kingdom, you gotta go through the fire, because as the scriptures pertain to us as gold, and we have to be tried through the fire in order to make it into the kingdom of heaven. All right. So I actually, through the Spirit, I found it. The book of Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, chapter 3, it says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die." All right. So America was born, and now it's time for this place to go. It says a time to plant. Bahasham Yahawashi planted this place, the place of our enemies, Babylon. It says a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And Bahasham Yahawashi is about to pluck it up through the Spirit. And it says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. It's a time to break down these wicked philosophies of Babylon, and build up our people with truth and through the Spirit. It says a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. All right. So we're about to go through the time of mourning, and then when we make it through the kingdom, Lord will, we be a part of that elect number. It'll be a time to dance and rejoice. And actually, I want to get that, because going into our enemies, we got we do have a rough patch ahead of us called Jacob's trouble in the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. It says, the word. All right, I'm gonna skip down to verse 30:2. "Thus speaketh the Yahawah power of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Yahawah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Yahawah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it." All right. So we're in captivity, and out of this captivity, the Lord's going to keep his promise and give us the inheritance of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it says, "And these are the words that the Yahawah spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Yahawah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." All right. So there's no peace about to come to this earth. It's not about to get better. It's about to get worse before it get better. It says, "Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned pale into paleness." So this time is about to be as a grown man, about to be like a woman in travail, with their face waxing pale. All right. And there's also a scripture pertaining to the elect, saying that Israel's face would not wax pale. All right. And it says in verse 7, and I believe I'm gonna end it with that. No, I'm gonna end it on verse 8. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." All right. So our enemies gonna want to put them hands on us, once again, but Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's elect will be saved out of it. It says in verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Yahawah of hosts, and it's the Lord of hosts. He's the one that's routing up these nations to go to war and ultimately destroy Babylon, aka America. It says that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. All right. So the Most High is gonna break these yokes of iron from off of our neck. He's gonna break us out of this captivity. All right. So through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, I hope that was edifying. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalawam to the Akim teaching this truth and sincerity. And Shalawam to the Akim and the Aqua who listen and learn and believe on the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. With that, Shalawam.